I'm Ross, the music teacher, and today I want to talk to you about one of the topics that I get asked the most as a bass teacher. And it has to do with our little friend, the pinky. How do we improve pinky strength, pinky consistency, pinky accuracy? Okay? So when we're fretting with our four fingers, these two fingers come pretty easy, right? We're used to using these in like a pinching motion all the time, all kinds of daily tasks. Our ring finger and our pinky, we don't really use them like that outside of playing strings. I can't really think of anything. I've been thinking about this for a long time. How else, what other situation in real life do I use my pinky like this, right? So I get asked all the time, how do we improve pinky fretting technique? Okay, so I've got a couple exercises, a couple drills that I use, that I have my students use, that I want to share with you, and hopefully they will help you on your journey to getting the pinky as reliable as our two dominant fingers. Okay, so when it comes to fretting, what we want to think about is we always want to use the point of the finger, never the side. Okay, if we're using the side, not only is it like putting our hand in like an awkward position, but we can get that kind of sound, right? No one wants to hear that from the bass. So if we use the point, like if we're pointing at someone, which you're not supposed to do, you point at someone, that's the part you want to use, and you want to push finger to string, string to wood, okay? So what I'll have my students do is called the open fret exercise, okay? And I'm going to demonstrate with all four fingers, and then we'll specifically address the pinky. What we want to be doing is we want to be alternating between plucking an open string and then fretting that same string. Open, fret. And with rhythm, with groove, right? Can be nice and slow. Maybe we got a short, short, long, short, long, short, short, long, short, long. Okay, good. So then we can move on to the next finger, middle finger. Okay, this is really easy with the pointer in the middle. But with the ring and the pinky, it can be a little bit harder, okay? Because we've got to take our hand all the way off the instrument, right? Get it out of position and then return it to position. And that is what is creating the value, right? That's what is allowing us to build muscle memory, dexterity, control, coordination, right? We're not used to maybe having independence with our pinky, and we need that if we're going to play string instruments, right? So what I will have my students do, specifically if they want to get better at the pinky, open, fret, open, fret, open, fret, short, long, short, short, long, short, long, short, short, long. Okay, and then you can start doing them in rapid succession, right? So open, fret with the pinky, open, fret with the ring, open, fret with the middle, open, fret with the pointer, back. Okay, what I tend to notice is that students are really dominant with this finger, and they'll build up some skill on this next exercise that I call the spider walk, where they can go pointer, middle, ring, pinky, and that's the only direction that they focus on, right? Pointer, middle, ring, pinky. Maybe they'll practice coming back the way they went, but they'll always put more of an emphasis starting on the pointer and ending on the pinky. With music, what we want to be getting into the habit of doing it is any exercise we play in one direction, right? One direction meaning I'm starting on this finger and I'm ascending notes until I get to the pinky. We want to do the inverse or the opposite of that as well, right? So pinky down to the pointer, right? This allows us to give more emphasis, right? We're starting the exercise with the pinky instead of ending it with the pinky, right? So that right there is going to be a little bit of a challenge. Now, another thing I'll notice that my students do when they're doing this is they'll tuck these fingers away, right? Now, The issue is that when it's time to get to this note, I've got to work really hard. I've got to bring my hand all the way out from behind the neck. So instead of thinking of bringing it back, I want you to think of hovering, right? It's basically where it needs to be as far as the fret, the string. All we really need to think about is bringing it down. That same motion from the open fret, right? We're bringing it down to fret it, down to fret, down to fret, down to fret, okay? So this exercise is more intermediate in the process of getting our pinky in good shape, right? Because we're using it in conjunction with other fingers, where the open fret, we can just focus on that, right? If we're really struggling with our pinky, if we can't get, forgetting that every time we use our pinky, right? The issue there is that the finger's not pushing the string down all the way, right? It's not a piano key. It's not where if I touch the button, it's going to work and sound the way I need it to. There is an element of nuance and touch involved here where, again, I've got to push that string, my finger to the string, string to the wood. And the moment that that connection between string, finger, and wood isn't good enough, you're going to get all those unwanted noises, okay? So again, you want to start with the open fret. Then you can move to the spider walk. Okay, the nice thing about the spider walk is that it works really well across all four strings, right? So let's do it starting on the pinky, going in one direction. When we get to the pointer, that's how we know it's time to switch strings. We're going to go all the way down to the E string, and the same way back up. Pinky to pointer, time to change strings, all the way back up. So this is what that would look and sound like. Repeat this string. Start climbing back up. Excellent. Now, what you hopefully noticed about that is that my hand isn't staying like in this stagnant position, right? What do I mean by that? What I mean is that depending on what finger I'm using, I'm allowing my palm, my wrist, my whole arm to adjust, kind of like in this like wiggle motion, right? So that whichever finger I'm using, the rest of my hand, wrist, and arm are in a comfortable position, like this right here. This, if we just walked around with our hand like this, people would be like, that's kind of strange, that's kind of awkward. It's almost like this chalice kind of configuration, right? But this really works well because I've got the thumb behind the neck and I'm anchoring with my thumb, right? So I am able to push down with the pinky and get the correct amount of force that is required to do that, okay? So don't feel like you need to keep all your fingers in one spot. I can feel that right now. I feel the tension in my wrist, especially here. That might be something that you build up towards, but especially when you're first starting, when you're learning, let your body naturally move. Okay, now here's my last exercise. This is more of an expert level. Okay, I sometimes call this switching or jumping. Basically, the idea is that I'm always going to play my pinky, but I'm going to be switching to another finger, and the pinky stays on the same string, but the other finger moves, right? So if I'm going pinky and pointer, my pinky will always play this fret of this string, and my pointer is going to switch to a different string each time I do it. So that would look and sound like this. Back up. Okay, that one's really got a stretch involved, right? Think about how I have to bring my hand like this to get this note. Now, this is not going to sound like a song or like a riff, and that's okay, because what we're doing here is we are creating an exercise where you can explore what is the mechanic, what does it feel like, what is the shift, the tiny adjustments you need to make so that you can get good tone and you can have accuracy. To continue to build up on your correct tone and accuracy, you want to make sure to take this exercise through not just the pointer and pinky, but all the fingers, right? So pinky, middle, and now the middle is moving to different strings. And then pinky and ring, and the ring is now moving. And then you can do the inverse as well, where we're using the pinky and it is moving to different strings, while the other finger that it's switching back and forth from stays static, stays in the same place. So we've got the pointer to pinky, middle to pinky, and then lastly, ring to pinky. Okay, now all of these are going to be big stretches and challenging at first. Don't worry about speed, don't worry about rhythm. Think of it as like stretching before an athletic event, right? You're doing an athletic event, maybe there's a winner, maybe there's a loser, maybe you're scored, but no one is scoring or losing or winning based on the stretching, right? You're just getting your body limber. Think of these exercises the exact same way, right? We want to get the hand loose. We want to build more awareness and muscle memory and control about how we're using the pinky and how we're using it by itself, right? That's where we started with the open and fret, just by itself. Then how is it being used with its neighbors, right? With the other fingers all across the same string. And then the last exercise is helping us build up that relationship, the pinky and different fingers across different strings, okay? All of these exercises are going to help. What I recommend doing is building up a regimen where you might spend 2 to 5 minutes on each one. Open and fret, spider walk, and switching, right? And as you get better, as you get more comfortable, you might use these only when you're noticing you're having issues with the pinky. The same way that we don't take cold medicine year round. We take cold medicine when we get a cold. We have an issue, the cold, and then we prescribe a solution, the medicine. Okay? If our pinky's doing this, we have diagnosed a problem. Which of those exercises are we going to prescribe as the solution? If you found this video helpful, please give me a follow. Let me know in the comments if you found any of what I suggested useful, and I look forward to talking about bass with you more in the future. Take it easy.